Welcome back, everybody, to Be the Trader. Today, I have a very special segment. If you've been keeping up with the show, you know that I've been bringing on new guests to share their perspective, real traders, real people who've tried different services themselves, and they can give you their perspective instead of just hearing what I have to say, or how most of us find out. We try to go look for reviews, and we see reviews that the actual guru is doing themselves with with their own student. I feel like we should do something that's completely unbiased, where I reach out to people, and D'Angelo, messages me, DM'd me, reply to one of my messages of just saying, hey, if anyone's been part of a service, reach out to me. And I appreciate D'Angelo for being here today, man. And I really appreciate you being a listener as well. And so before we get started, D'Angelo, if you could share a little bit about your background, then we'll just take it away.
Okay, yeah, I've been trading since 2014. I didn't take it serious back then. I didn't really take it serious till 2017, but I found out about Sykes in 2014 by this old man I worked with. He was telling me about it. He wanted his grandkids to do it, but he was telling me because they didn't want to listen. Then I went and looked them up, and then I'm like, okay, I'm into it. And ever since then, but yeah, that's how I got started.
Nice. And so what we're going to focus on, because I know if you've been listening to the show, we've had a lot of Sykes discussions already. A lot, obviously, is a big name out there. So we're going to start off. One thing that intrigued me about D'Angelo is you had quite a length of time with Ross Cameron. So we'll start off with Ross Cameron, then we'll jump to MIC, and then you've been a part of some other services as well. So if we have some time, we'll sprinkle in there as well. So let's start off with Ross. If you can I'll let you take the table. If you want to share it, just brief.
Okay, I was with Ross for the longest because he had a deal. It was like 75% off for the year. I paid like $400 for the year.
Yeah.
So I took it and I ran with it. And at the time, I wasn't trading as much. I was off and on trading. So, and when I go in there, it was him who taught me about the different the different times, like the 1 minute with the 5 minute, like mixing them together. But other than that, I was too busy trying to follow his alerts, getting dumped on, stuff like that. So it's like, I don't think that's teaching. Like, I don't think, but it is what it is. It's a good and a bad that comes with it. You can learn what to do and how he do it. And you can learn from that. And you can see like, okay, well, he's trying to take it here. So maybe I should go in here. Like, to be honest with you, when I seen him getting into things, I was heavily trying to short. So when I seen him getting into something, I'm like, okay, well, he going to exit here. Or if I hear him say exit, I'm trying to short it there. So it was like, so funny. I knew everybody was going to leave. But when I was going long, boom, I was getting dumped on and I couldn't understand. And I revenge trade and try to go back and it get worse and then I blow up.
So tell me a little bit about the experience in terms of, do you feel like, so you feel like you learned from the time frames, putting different time frames together. Do you feel like you learned how to trade properly in terms of, setting the plan, why, how to set a plan, what you should risk before you enter, where your profit target should be, how you should go follow through with your process? Can you explain a little bit about that?
I didn't learn none of that from him. I didn't learn, be honest with you, I don't think I learned that from any service for real, except for probably one.
Oh, okay.
Well, two, probably two, but they don't, it's all follow. Oh, look at this. I feel like services go wrong by they show your P&L instead of showing like, hey, I made this percentage today of my account. That way, that'd be more helpful because if a person got a smaller account, it's like, oh, I made that same percentage. They can feel good about themselves instead of trying to, you made how much? Oh, man, I only got $50 or 100. Yeah. Man, boom, we blow up.
What do you feel like? What do you feel like was lacking? And I know this is kind of a loaded question, I guess, because you did kind of answer some of it. But just from your perspective, if you had to say, for someone who's maybe thinking like, hey, I'm interested in Ross Cameron, I see his videos on YouTube, what would you tell that person in terms of, what to expect, in terms of what not to expect, I guess?
Don't expect and think you're going to come up. Don't think you're going to be profitable watching Ross. Unless, I don't know what his inner circle thing is because I've never been in it, but don't think you're going to be profitable following Ross. If you're new, you can learn some things like the different, putting the different charts together or stuff like that, and VLAB, stuff like that, the small things. But if you want to learn, I wouldn't go there.
Gotcha.
That's just me personally.
And you were saying like a lot of people would just follow him. Is he? And he's. I mean, he's not. Is he kind of just trading where he's like saying, "Hey, is he like this? Hey, I'm entering here, guys. I took profit," or is he more like, "Hey, D'Angelo, this is why. Here's a stock I'm looking at. My plan is to enter if X, Y, Z happens, and here's my profit target. Here's my risk before I even execute the trade." There's no walking through like that.
No, he
Okay.
don't do none of that. None of that.
Okay.
I'm entering here, I'm exiting here, 4,000 shares or whatever like that. That's how he trade. He tell you, hey, I'm looking to buy. Okay, he'll tell you, okay, I'm thinking about getting in at say whatever stock 8:30, and then it's getting close to 8:30. He'd be okay, I'm in at 8:25, and it's like, yo, you, man.
So it seems kind of different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's. Is there anything else you like to point out in terms of Ross that you liked or that you didn't like before we move on?
What I like? I just like the scanners that he showed. The scanners. When I was there, nobody was doing that, showing scanners. So you had to go buy scanners. So I looked at it as, okay, this is an all-in-one thing. Like I can see what they trading, have other people in the chat room, and get the scanners and look at it and trade what I want to trade. So that's the only thing.
Doesn't he trade live now though on live stream or something?
He always been doing that.
Okay.
Always.
So did you get the scanners that way too?
Yeah, you see the scan. Okay. He keep the scanners up. He keep the higher day scanner up. He keep the halt scanner. He kept all that right there in your face so you can see it yourself.
Nice.
That's the only other thing.
Benefit. Like, you know, you can see it maybe if you don't want to pay for a scanner, if you get a free scanner.
Yeah, at the time, you know, hey, I'm not the richest guy, so anything helps.
I understand that. So I'm curious. So let's move on. Unless you want to say anything else, let's move on to MIC, and then you can go ahead and let me know, like, you know, what you like, didn't like, if there was pros, cons, all pros. Take it away.
Okay, so it's kind of hard because it's like MIC came, but Bao sent me to Investors Underground at first when I first was talking about. So it's like when they came, only thing I can say I really learned from them was the lines. I picked up the lines like, okay, and I'm not a 1 minute chart. It just moves too much. So I can't handle that. I'm more 15 minute, 10 minute. I need that long stretch so I can sit back, and I can't trade the morning. I like to trade the chop, whereas I can see it little tick by tick go slow so I can catch it and see the level 2 move the right way. But that's the only thing. But it was cool. I didn't go to no meetups or anything, but yeah, I learned the lines, and that helped a lot because it's like, oh, okay, I can line and see it's not going to go past this, or it's going to come here and going to turn around, and that actually helped.
Is lines, to me, lines are more like support resistance. Is that what you mean? Like,
exactly. I didn't know nothing about support resistance before that.
So they did a good job of pointing out and showing you how to actually draw those out specific from different stocks. Cool. I like that. And now I ask this with every service, and do you feel like it was more clear in terms of like setting the plan before they trade, why they trade, and explaining all the details? Do you feel like, and if it was or wasn't, you know, how much did you feel like you had, and how much do you feel like was missing?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like they doing the same thing as Ross in a way, but they doing it different. He's calling it out. They telling you, hey, I'm looking at this line. So all your people is gonna go to that line automatically. Just boom, let me put it here. So I feel like it's the same thing but different. I just feel like everybody's doing the same thing.
Yeah, I hear you. So I said, I guess a pro would be you were able to pick up lines because now you're able to draw your own lines, figure out what's a good, you know, risk and so forth, set up your plan. Do you feel like there was any other benefit you got from them?
No, that was it.
Okay. Now, I know they give you a lot of video lessons. Do you personally feel like they were just not very valuable, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, they wasn't valuable to me at the time that I went there because everything they was teaching I already learned from Investors Underground. So it was like it wasn't really too much there for me to learn.
Okay, but Investors Underground, since you brought them up, so if you weren't like, let's just say you're a new person coming to MIC, right? Because that's where we're catering to. Like, there's a lot of new people. Maybe they're curious to MIC. You had experience from IU before you went there, so you kind of already learned some things. It sounds like. So if you weren't like, let's say you went to MIC first, how do you feel from that perspective? Do you feel like there is some things that people can learn?
Okay. Yeah. Once you get another thing too, I say gurus need to stop doing all that talking in their videos. They do more talking than explaining. So,
Yeah. Explain
That's
how
the
their
only
day went. Yeah, I get you. I got you. So what would you say if you could give, I guess, unless you have anything else to say about this service, MIC, is there anyone that you would like to talk about specifically that you really liked or that you just really don't like? Like, it's up to you.
I like Investors Underground.
Okay.
I like them. I bought the DVDs. They worked with me. They let me do a payment plan to get the DVDs, and they gave them to me up front. And It changed. That's when I first became profitable, watching their DVDs. It works. It just, they didn't teach no support and resistant line. They just like, hey, the ABCD pattern was a good one. The head and shoulders, that basketball bounce was good. That was my first time ever making a $300 trade, making it profit. So it was like, yo, that's what changed everything for me. So I think they're good.
Nice. So were you part of the chat room too, or you just had the DVDs? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like how was that experience like when the chat room?
They was
compared to MIC,
was above my head. Yeah, they was above my head. I had to get out of there because they was $100 stock. They was just too professional.
Oh, they were like trading bigger tickets.
Yeah, and it wasn't for newbies. It was like professional. It wasn't like everybody else's, like where you can say stuff, ask questions. It wasn't that simple to me. So I was like, I got to go.
Gotcha. But the value. Yeah, the DVD is what you got a lot of value from, which sounds like kind of taught you. Did that teach you how to like develop a plan and so forth? Yep.
It taught me patterns. It taught me how to recognize patterns. It made me go back and look for patterns. That's what it did.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're gathering things from every different service. It sounds like Ross, you got some value from different time frames. And you kind of developed yourself where you have your own 10-minute, you like 10, 15, the bigger time frames. And then you went to Investors Underground where you got more of how to look at good patterns that fit what you like, right? You found patterns that really vibed with you. And it seems like they taught you the patterns very well through their course. And then you went to MIC, which the main thing you got from them, if anything, was the lines, which is really just being an understanding of how to draw all different types of lines in terms of resistance, support, which then again helps you add value to your other previous experience of building your plan based off your actual setup that you learned from IU. So it sounds like there wasn't a place that you can go to from your perspective, and correct me if I'm wrong, where you could kind of learn it all.
Exactly. No, I don't think it's one place. You got to dip and dab in everything.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and like, I found out about like the 15-minute chart from Roland. I was trying to sign up for his chat room, but instead he gave me his DVD and I watched it. Yeah. So then when I was hitting him about, hey, I ain't in the chat room, he cut me out when he seen he gave me the DVD instead.
That's funny. Well, I'll tell you what, Angela, is there any, before we wrap this up, is there anything you would like to tell anybody out there when it comes to any specific service? This is your time to either say what you say, either negatives, positives, neutral. What is your opinion on anything? The floor is yours.
Paul, I don't know his last name, Superman Trades.
Yep.
He teach you how to be self-sufficient. He showed me his strategy, and it can work for options, swing trading, day trading, basically the boring companies. And it helped, like, he taught me something, and it was self-sufficient. Like, you don't have to even follow his trades. It's like he teach you how to do it. And when you go out there and fish for it, you see it. And you go backtrack it, you can see it. And it's like, yo, boom. And it works. I think that his setup is one of the best. Like, if you're going to swing, go long, I think that was the best money I spent, basically.
Explain to me and everyone else why you feel like he taught you really how to fish rather than the other rooms, it just wasn't. What was the main difference? I mean, give me a better explanation.
He didn't give you he gave you the pattern. He's like, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I'm looking for. Put all them together and don't divvy away from that, and you're going to have the play. And I went and backtracked. I went and looked it up, and I've seen it like, oh, you put it with the big stocks, they go $10. You put it with the micro stocks, they go $2-3 in about 5-6 days. And I'm like, oh, this really works as long as you follow the plan to a T. And I did that in the past 2 days and made back the money that I spent with him already.
So is it more like is he showing you specifically a plan? And what I mean by that, and it sounds like he is, and I'm digging in because I want to know, because I asked you with the other people, like, were they telling you, this is my setup, this is where I would normally enter on this type of setup, here's what you should always risk, or here's where you should risk on this setup, here's where you should take profits, here's how to take profits, here's when you're wrong. Like, does he walk you through that? Is that what I'm saying?
In a way, yeah. He say he uses the EMA. He uses the EMA. So if it dropped below the EMA, he gets out. He tell you that's my out. So that's what I use. So that's what you use. So if it's above that EMA, and it's gonna go. And it mixed with the RSI, the news, if the sector is going hot, yeah. Nice.
So do you feel like that right there is the difference from the other services, is that he kind of showed you everything, and now do you feel like you'll be able to like be more self-sufficient rather than the other services?
Yeah, okay. I do. I really do, because I didn't take none of his trades. And he, like, I joined his chat room. He sent out, oh, this is what I'm in, but I haven't took any trades that he's in. I just went and looked for the setup, and it worked like instantly. I just set up the scanner, FinViz scanner. I set it up to look for that. And when it popped it up, I just wanted to test it out. Boom. Took a few option trades and boom, and double my money.
Cool, man. Cool, man. Well, it sounds like if you could start over yourself and you had all these experiences now with different services, would you choose a service now you know what you know? And if you would, where would you go?
Ooh, I will go.
If you can only choose one, just curious.
See, I've never been in Tim Challenge, so I don't know what that's like. I only been in the silver, but I've learned from the How to Make Millions DVDs. Oh, and one thing to the viewers, if you want to look at Tim Sykes, go to his first videos that he ever put out. He gives so much information. The new ones is bull. The old ones is where it's at.
That's so true. But I second that. That's so true.
Yeah. So I say Investors Underground. I liked that experience. And Paul, like,
okay.
And MIC.
And Paul is Superman, by the way, for those who are listening. Superman trades. Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, man, I appreciate you joining me today and sharing your opinion.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I think this will be good value because I think I have one more person I'll be interviewing, but thanks again, man. And I appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks. All right.